In Excel, formulas are written differently from how you write them in math. An Excel formula always starts with an equal sign, and it can contain values, cell references, functions, and operators. Values, the numbers 987 and 36.7 and the words computer and high are examples of string values. Cell references C3, B2 to B5, A2 to D8, B to E, and 4 to 10 are examples of cell references. Functions, sum, average, minimum, maximum, and count are examples of functions. Operators are given in the last line. Thus, a formula in Excel is a sequence of values, cell references, functions, and/or operators in a cell that produces a new value from existing values. This module covers the following concepts of formulas in Excel 2016. Cell and range references, using formulas, error results, auto sum feature, functions library. A reference identifies a cell or a range of cells in a worksheet and tells Excel where to look for the values or data you want to use in a formula. Let us consider a few examples. To enter a formula, select a cell and enter the formula in the cell or in the formula bar. When you finish entering the formula and click Enter, the cell will show the formula result and not the formula itself. However, you see the formula in the formula bar when the cell is selected. To understand how a formula can be entered in the formula bar, let us calculate the sum of the numbers in cells B2, C2, and D2 as shown in the worksheets as follows. Click the cell in which you want to put the formula, which in this case is E2. The cell reference E2 appears in the name box. Type the equal sign. You can type it either in the cell or in the formula bar. What you type will appear in both places automatically. Continue typing B2 plus C2 plus D2 as shown. Notice the different color borders that appear around these cells. Click or press Enter. Cell E2 will display the formula result. This will change automatically if data changes in cells B2, C2, or D2. An easier method of adding a cell reference to a formula is to click on the cell instead of typing the cell address. This method is called pointing. After typing equal, do not type B2. Click on cell B2 instead. A moving dashed border called a marquee will appear around B2. The status bar will display the status of point. Now type plus and click on cell C2. Then type plus and click on cell D2. Cell E2 will now have the formula B2 plus C2 plus D2. Press Enter to see the value. Cell references can be of the following three types. Relative. In relative cell referencing, the row and column references can change when you copy the formula to another cell. By default, Excel creates relative cell references in a formula. For example, A1, B5, D4, etc. Consider the worksheet given below to find the area of circle using the formula 3.14 into radius. Select cell C3 and, using the fill handle, drag it to cell C6. Release the mouse button. The calculated values will appear. Select cells C4 and C5 and note the formulas in the formula bar. The formula in cells C3 to C6 is the product of the cell to their left. The reference changes if the formula is copied to another cell. This is because the formula uses relative referencing. It is useful if you want to work with data in each row using the same formula. Absolute. In absolute cell referencing, the row and column references do not change when you copy a formula because the reference is to a fixed cell address. It uses two dollar signs in the reference, one for the column letter and the other for the row number. For example, $A, $1, $D, $5, and $B, $7. Consider the worksheet given below. The formula entered in cell C3 is equal $D, $1 into B3 into B3. Select cell C3 and, using the fill handle, drag it to cell C6. When you copy the formula to cell C4, it becomes equal $D, $1 into B4 into B4. A part of the formula is relative, B4, while another part is absolute, $D, $1. Whenever you copy the formula, only the relative part will change. The absolute part remains the same. Now, can you guess the formula that would be copied to cell C5? Yes, it would be equal $D, $1 into B5 into B5. Mixed. In mixed cell referencing, the row or column reference is relative while the other is absolute. For example, $A1 or $1. Consider the worksheet. It calculates the perimeter of a rectangle for various lengths and breadths. The formula in cell C3 is equal to into $B3 plus $2. Copy the formula to the cell range C3 to F6. Both the cell references are mixed. The reference to cell B3 uses an absolute reference for the column $B, and the reference to cell C2 uses an absolute reference for the row $2. There is a way to view the formulas copied to the cell range C3 to F6. Click the Formulas tab. In the Formula Auditing group, click the Show Formulas button. The formula used in each of the cells of the range will be shown in the cells. A circular reference occurs when a formula refers to its own value. For example, if you enter the formula equal A1 into A2 into A3 in cell A3, every time it calculates the formula in cell A3, it must be calculated again because A3 has changed. The calculation would go on forever. You will see a warning in such a case. Click OK and correct the formula. A text string, or a text value, is a sequence of characters on which you cannot perform operations such as subtraction, multiplication, or division. However, you can join strings together. This is called concatenation. We use the ampersand character to concatenate strings. For example, if you type as shown and press Enter, you will see the result, work hard. You can use the cell referencing. The table shows the mathematical operators used in Excel and their order of evaluation. Sometimes, a formula displays an error result rather than a proper value. This happens when the formula has a problem and Excel cannot calculate the formula. The table lists some common errors in Excel along with their possible reasons. The Auto Sum feature automatically adds numbers in the selected cells. You can also use it to find the average, maximum, etc. for a range of cells. The Auto Sum button is present at two places on the ribbon: in the Editing group on the Home tab, in the Function Library group on the Formulas tab. Consider this example where we need to find the total runs scored in 3 matches. Type the data in a worksheet. Select cell E2 and click Auto Sum in the Editing group on the Home tab. For more options other than addition, click the drop-down menu arrow to the right of the AutoSum button. With AutoSum or Sum, Excel will create a formula with a sum function along with a cell range. A moving marquee surrounds cell B2 through D2, and a screen tip appears below the cell telling you the correct format of the sum function. Press Enter or click the AutoSum button again to view the result. As you have learned earlier, you can use the autofill feature to fill a range of cells. Select cell E2, drag the fill handle to cell E5. Let us consider an example to familiarize ourselves with the other functions. Type the data as shown in the worksheet. Select cell F2, click the AutoSum drop-down menu arrow, and choose Average from the AutoSum menu. The average function will be inserted automatically. The range in the formula is B2 to E2, which is not what we want. Correct the cell range by selecting B2 to D2. Press Enter and you will see the result. Select cell F2. Drag the fill handle to cell F5. View the result. Now let us select cell B7 and choose Max from the AutoSum menu. Correct the cell range in the formula to B2 to B5 and press Enter to view the result. To fill the remaining cells in the row, first select cell B7. Drag the fill handle to cell F7. View the result. Let us now try the min function. Select cell B8 and choose Min from the AutoSum menu. Correct the cell range in the formula to B2 to B5 and press Enter to view the result. As in the case of the Max function, to fill the remaining cells in the row, first select cell B8. Point the cursor to the fill handle and drag the fill handle to cell F8. Release the left mouse button to view the result. Finally, let us select cell B9 and choose Count Numbers from the AutoSum menu. Correct the cell range in the formula to B2 to B5 and press Enter to view the result. This inserts a formula with the count function. The count function counts the number of numeric values in a range. Functions in Excel are predefined formulas that perform specific calculations. We will discuss some basic functions here. Click the Formulas tab. In the Function Library group, click the Function button for the category of function you want to use, such as Financial, Logical, Text, Date and Time, Lookup and Reference, or Math and Trig. Then select the required function from the list that appears. Let us learn about two functions in the Math and Trig category, GCD and LCM. To calculate the GCD, follow these steps. Type numbers in cells A1 and A2. Select cell A3, which is the cell where you want the GCD of the two numbers. Click the Math and Trig button and then select GCD from the drop-down menu. The Functions Arguments dialog box appears. Type A1 and A2 in the number 1 and number 2 text boxes respectively. Observe that the result of the formula appears near the bottom of the dialog box. Click OK. The output will now be seen in cell A3. To calculate the LCM, follow these steps. Type numbers in cells A1, A2, and A3. Select cell A4, where you want the LCM of the three numbers. Click Math and Trig, and then select LCM from the drop-down menu. Click OK. The output will appear in cell A4. Click the cell in which you want to enter a formula. Click Insert Function on the formula bar, or click the More Functions option from the AutoSum menu, or click the Insert Function button in the Function Library group on the Formulas tab. The Insert Function dialog box appears. In the Or Select a Category box, select All. If you are familiar with the function categories, You can also select a category. In the Select a Function box, select the function you want to use and then click OK. In the argument dialog boxes that are displayed for the function you selected, enter the values or cell references or select the cells that you want to reference and click OK. Now, let us do an activity, finding the GCD of given numbers. Congratulations! You have successfully completed this activity.